morning of May 10th began like any other midsummer day in Lamphun, the ancient and tranquil province in northern Thailand. The heat was oppressive, with temperatures peaking at 41 degrees Celsius by mid-afternoon. However, the stillness of the air carried a peculiar weight, a precursor to a meteorological phenomenon known as a summer storm, Pheu Ruran. Meanwhile, by 4:30 p.m., the horizon toward the Khun Tan Range began to darken, not with the usual gray of rain clouds, but with a deep, bruised violet hue. Within 30 minutes, the atmospheric pressure plummeted, and the first gusts of a microburst struck the provincial capital and surrounding districts, including Mueang Lamphun, Pa Sang, and Ban Thi. What followed was 3 hours of atmospheric violence. This was not a standard monsoon rain. It was a localized, high-intensity convective storm characterized by dry lightning, golf ball-sized hail, and straight-line winds exceeding 110 kilometers per hour. Detailed timeline of the incident. 1645, the first strike. The storm entered the northern corridor of the province. Residents in Ban Thi reported hearing a sound like a freight train as the wind began to shear roofs off agricultural sheds. 1715, urban chaos. The storm center hit the Mueang district. Ancient trees, some over a century old, lining the roads leading to what for that Harafunchai were uprooted. The suddenness left commuters stranded. Visibility dropped to less than 5 meters. 1745, power grid failure. As primary high-voltage pylons collapsed under the weight of fallen trees and wind pressure, the provincial power grid tripped. Over 45,000 households were plunged into darkness as the rain turned into a torrential downpour, flooding low-level streets within minutes. 1900 hours, the subsidence. The wind began to die down, leaving behind a landscape that looked like a war zone. The air, previously sweltering, had dropped by 15 degrees Celsius in less than 2 hours. The toll, destruction of property and infrastructure. The aftermath of the Lamphun summer storm revealed a scale of damage that local authorities described as unprecedented for the decade. Residential and private property. Initial surveys by the Provincial Office of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation, DDPM, indicated that over 1,200 homes sustained significant damage. In rural Pa Sang, entire houses built of wood and corrugated iron were flattened. The flying roof phenomenon was widespread. Heavy metal sheets were found tangled in power lines several hundred meters from their original structures, posing a lethal risk to anyone caught outside. The agricultural backbone. Lamphun is world-renowned for its longan, lamyai, orchards. The storm struck during a critical period of the fruit-bearing season. The heavy hail acted like shrapnel, bruising the delicate fruit and stripping branches bare. Estimates suggest that 15,000 rai, approximate 6,000 acres, of longan plantations were affected. For many local farmers, this represents a total loss of annual income. Power and communication. The Provincial Electricity Authority, PEA, reported that more than 80 utility poles were snapped or tilted. This led to a total blackout in 4 districts. Communication towers also suffered, leaving several blind spots where mobile signals and internet connectivity were severed, complicating early rescue efforts. Cultural impact. The heart of the ancient city. Lamphun is a city of immense historical pride, being the seat of the ancient Harafunchai kingdom. The storm did not spare its heritage. At the iconic Wat for that Harafunchai, several decorative elements of the temple grounds were damaged by falling branches. While the central golden chedi remained intact, the surrounding sala, pavilions, suffered roof damage. The loss of ancient Bodhi trees around the city's moats has left a psychological scar on the community, as these trees were considered the spiritual guardians of the province. Emergency response and human stories. As the winds subsided, the spirit of Lamphun took over. The governor of Lamphun immediately declared the affected areas as disaster zones to expedite the release of emergency funds. The rescue operations. Volunteer units and the military moved in by 8 p.m. They worked through the night using chainsaws to clear main arteries like Highway 106. In one dramatic rescue, an elderly couple in Serifai, on the border of Lamphun, was pulled from their collapsed home just as floodwaters began to rise. the human cost. While fortunately, fatalities remained low due to the storm hitting while most were still at work or home, the injury count reached 42, mostly from shattered glass and falling debris. The trauma, however, is widespread. "I have lived here for 70 years, said Samchai, a local shop owner. "I have seen rain, but I have never seen the wind lift a car. It felt like the sky was falling." The economic ripple effect. The economic impact is estimated to be in the hundreds of millions of baht. Industrial sector. The Northern Region Industrial Estate in Lamphun faced temporary halts in production due to power fluctuations and minor structural damage to warehouses. Local markets. The CAD local markets were decimated. Small vendors lost their inventory to rain and wind, and with the power out, refrigerated goods perished quickly. Meteorological analysis. Why Lamphun? Weather experts from the Thai Meteorological Department, TMD, explain that this was a perfect storm of conditions. The intense heat buildup over the north created a massive thermal vacuum. When a cold high-pressure system from China moved down to meet this heat, the resulting convection was explosive. Lamphun's topography, nestled in a valley, trapped the heat, making the atmospheric instability even more violent when the front arrived. The road to recovery. As of today, the cleanup continues. The government has promised a subsidy of 30,000 to 50,000 baht per severely damaged household. Though many residents argue this is a drop in the bucket compared to the actual costs of rebuilding. Reforestation and rebuilding. There is already a movement to replant the lost trees, but experts warn that with climate change, summer storms are becoming more frequent and more intense. The provincial government is now looking into underground power lines for the historic center to prevent future blackouts and hazards. Conclusion: a lesson in resilience. The Lamphun summer storm of 2026 serves as a stark reminder of nature's unpredictability. While the physical scars, the broken trees, the roofless houses, and the ruined crops will eventually be mended, the event has changed how the people of Lamphun view their summers. Security is no longer just about locking doors. It is about reinforcing roofs and watching the horizon. Yet, as the community gathers to clear the mud and debris together, the resilience of the Northern Thai spirit remains the one thing the storm could not blow away.